Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Global Reality. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. This is the Thursday, February 1st, 2018 edition of the broadcast. Thank you very much for being here with me and joining me for another edition of the show. Got a lot of various topics and different things I want to get into on the show here with you tonight. So, again, thanks for joining us. If you didn't check out yesterday's show, definitely check out that show too. There was a lot of interesting things we talked about there in that show. We are this is our fundraising week, and this is the time of the month when we have to cover all our operating costs of the month. As you know, I've been fighting my way back from health. I'm very close to being there. I just need to get this, whatever is going on with my mouth and teeth, worked on next week. And then I'll be able to be back to 100% again. The Bell's palsy stuff is still, it's still kind of hanging around a little bit. It's not 100% cured, but boy, it's definitely better than it was. The problem is, though, now we have, our operating costs are always due on the first. Sometimes, depending on what day it is, we get an extra day or whatever. We have until 3:00 tomorrow. Unfortunately, the needle hasn't moved hardly at all since yesterday. I mean, there's something like close to 250 people in the first few hours viewed that yesterday's show. And, of course, we still got so many people out there that just try to ignore and hide in the shadows whenever we have to, raise the funds we need to cover our operating costs. Look, folks, I'm so close now to coming back. I'm so close to having Spellcasters 2 ready. You have no idea, just from listening to this show, you have no fucking idea what I've gone through and what I've been through to fight my way back from this stuff, man. And what I've endured. And it's all been as a result of doing this work. All of it. Every bit of it. And I've continued to put my life on the line for so many years doing this stuff. And, all I ask is that every month we're able to reach our operating cost goal so we can continue. That's it. But we're just out of time now. We've got to have 100% of our goal left. Whatever we've got left on our goal, I haven't even looked. I think it's about the same as it was yesterday. Let me look at the exact amount. Roughly 1,200, I think. Anyway, we're just flat out of time. I told you about all the, if you want to go back and listen to all the offers we're having, I'm not going to run through all that again. We did that yesterday on the show. We've got stuff available for if you want to get your name in the credits or a name of your choice in the credits of the Spellcasters 2. I talked about that. Everybody that contributes $100 by 3 p.m. tomorrow will get their name in the special thanks credits and 3 free downloads from the shop. Whatever you want from the download store. $500 will get your name in the co-producer credit, and $1,000 will get your name in the co-executive producer credit to the film. So you do that. We've got a few of the hard drive flash drives that are going out. I'm putting the final touches on those. Will be going out in the next couple of days. Some of them have already started going out. Some of you will start receiving them depending on when you got yours. If you're one of the first ones in, then they'll be sent out in order in which people claimed them. So you should start receiving those sometime next week. We got a couple of those left. If you want to get on that, again, more information in yesterday's show. But we're just out of time here. I've got no time left, and we've got to have everything we need. I think let's see. Yeah, roughly $1,200 or so, something like that. We've got a lot of perks. If you want to go check out the campaign page, there's lots of stuff in there. You can check out all the perks we have there as well. And this is part of the stress, man, because, I'll do shows, I'll work my ass off, and then it'll come to this time of the month. And that's the number one thing the doctor told me I have to avoid now. Otherwise, this stuff's going to come back on me. It's going to cause more problems. And honestly, with all the stuff I've been through, I can't afford to have any more stress right now, and it's really fucking stressing me out. But the good news is, as long as we make it past this month, and next month, because February is going to be, I'm telling you right now, if I'm going to get this film done, you know, there's not going to be a bounty of fucking shows in February either, because I'm going to have to, again, I can't do 5-day-a-week shows and work on the film at the same time, because the film requires laser focus and around the clock work. So, you know, if we get past this month, the next month, man, it's going to be smooth sailing after that, because we'll be able to have Spellcasters 2 out and get back to regular business and shows and all that. And then I'll be able to start promoting the film and going on different shows and doing interviews. But, I mean, we're just at red alert level now. I've asked everybody to be nice. I mean, I've been as nice as I can about this. I've asked everybody, I've pled with people all month as I've been trying to make it back. We've hardly gotten anything in this month. I've barely survived this whole month. Now we're at the end of it. We have our operating costs due, and, you know, it's like chirp, chirp, crickets. I mean, now's the time, folks. I know a lot of you out there, even some of our regular contributors, have been procrastinating. We need everybody to come through now. You don't have any longer to wait. Quit waiting, looking at the thing, seeing if anybody. That's the problem. I noticed this, and I don't mean to talk shit, but I've noticed this even with people who are regular contributors as well. People sitting around, they watch the fucking thing, and they wait and see if other people have donated. Well, you have to understand that other people are waiting to see that too. So if somebody doesn't give and somebody doesn't budge and contribute something, then other people aren't going to do that as well. So that's the whole problem here. Everybody's waiting on everybody else. So we need people to start pushing through right now so that other people will see that and hopefully come and contribute as well. I mean, truly what it takes us to operate here every month is peanuts in comparison. But again, I understand. I mean, I've been sick. I haven't been able to do shows. And so, you know, the less shows I have, the less support we get. You know, I get that. I understand that. It's the same thing whenever I'm working on a film. But I mean, I could have just given up on this shit a long time ago. I could have given up and just said, fuck it all. And I haven't. I've continued to soldier on and push through. But I need that same sort of dedication from the listeners out there. It's a two-way street, man. You want more shows, you want to see these films, we got to have your support. We have to have people contributing right now. Again, 12 people out there. 12 people. We had 250 listen to the fucking show in the first 24, or not even first 24, first 2 hours. Okay? And yet, I mean, I sit there and watch the video views go up and go up to in the hundreds and the hundreds, and then the needle doesn't move at all. You can't tell me out of the first 300 people that listen in the first 2 hours, we couldn't have 12 of those people contribute $100 or 24 of those people contribute $50. You see what I'm saying? There are enough people in our audience where none of this should ever be a problem every month. And it just to see this fail, to see us go under right now, I mean, is that what you want? I know there are a lot of people out there that do. There are a lot of people out there. I mean, not everybody listens to my fucking show is a friend. Let's just put it like that. There are plenty of people out there don't give two shits of a motherfucker if we continue successful. They just want to, you know, either steal info and claim it for their own, or that's, you know, that's what happens when you when you've been doing this as long as I have and you have the kind of information. I mean, I know so much shit, man. I know stuff I've never talked about on the show before. I know there's so much stuff that I've got coming, especially stuff on the Law Secret stuff you guys don't even fucking know about. I mean, I'm sitting on info. I've been sitting on info for years, man, that I've kept my mouth shut about, and stuff for Spellcasters 2 as well. There's shit in that's going to blow your fucking mind, stuff nobody has come to yet. And, you know, you can't imagine how it feels. You know, I've said this before, and I've said it again. I know isn't one single person out there in this listening audience that would work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 10 years with no paycheck at the end of the week, no vacation, no benefits, nothing, and do it only because it's the right thing to do. That's what I've been doing here. So now's the time for you procrastinators and the people who've been putting it off, time to step up. No excuses. I don't want to hear the fucking, I don't have a bank account, or I don't have PayPal, or none of those excuses work anymore. People have tried those fucking excuses on me for years. If you don't have, I get people that all the time. Somebody, I don't have a bank account. I don't believe in banks. And then, oh, can I send money to Western Union? Western Union's a pain in the fucking ass. Fuck Western Union. All you got to do is go down to a Walgreens, a pharmacy, anywhere. Walmart, everywhere says these fucking things. Now, go get a Visa prepaid gift card. You can pay with cash. It's not traceable. Then all you have to do is email me the card information. I can process it on my end. So, again, if you don't have a credit card, debit card, whatever, that is no excuse. That excuse is long over with. But still, I get it from people. And then you tell them how they can donate, and then they don't do it. So they were never going to donate in the first place, most of those people. It blows my mind. Oh, I want to donate $200 right now, but I don't have a bank account, credit. And you tell them an easy way to do it that will take 5 minutes of their time, and then they never contribute anything. The highest contributor we of this month is going to get, I don't have a picture of it right now, but I think it's on Let There Be Rocks. A big fat slab of very rare Lawnite you can only find in Llano, Texas. I discussed it in my film Lost Secrets of Ancient America Volume 1. Got a big fat slab of that. That stuff's rare, especially in a big slab like that, all polished down. And these probably worth $200 or $300 just on its own, maybe more, but that stuff's continuing to go up. Anyway, that's all I have. I don't have any. I have nothing else to say on this. You know where I stand. You know what needs to happen. And we've got to have 100% of our operating costs going here no later than 3 p.m. tomorrow on Friday. So please start getting those in now, folks. We are in red alert territory. We have no time left, and we don't have any grace period time past tomorrow. Let me stress that. That's the main thing. Other times, other months, we've been able to have a little grace time. We don't have any grace, but we have to have this by tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts. You can use the campaign page to make your contribution. If you want to use PayPal, it's PayPal only. If you want to use a credit card or debit card, go hit the donate button on my website, theglobalreality.com. We got some various news to get into. I'll get into as much as I can here. My pain is, yesterday it subsided some, but today it's been back off and on again. I can start to feel it swell right now as I'm talking, so I'm going to try to give you as much as I can here during the show tonight. I know it's probably just starting to, stress and all that stuff starting to make it hurt again. Oh, man, this sucks. Last night I talked about all the news and stuff that we've seen that's pointing in the direction of what I've been talking about for years with the space-based weapons and the rest of that. That's just amazing how many stories are coming out. Chinese scientists unveil plan to zap space junk with orbital lasers. Again, this is part of what I was talking about yesterday with the whole, they'll give us all these reasons. Oh, well, we have to have space-based weapons to fight the asteroid threat. Now it seems like they're using the space junk problem. But again, all of this is going to be a pretext, not just for, as we talked about with the staged alien invasion scenario. Again, as I was saying yesterday, what about past that? These weapons manufacturers need basically an unending, never-ending threat to keep their budgets going and to keep this, the rich people that have been getting rich off wars, that they want it to continue. But they need a constant threat. That's why terrorism has worked so great. Because if you zap out one group, well, you just got another one that pops up. And they're all phony created by the intelligence agencies, be it Al-Qaeda or be it ISIS or anything, or the rest of this stuff. Remember, it was the Taliban for a while. And again, as I discussed, that's the same thing they want to do with the whole ET thing, and why they're slowly acclimating people. They spent so many decades, if you believed in UFOs or extraterrestrials, you were a kook, a whack nut, and you were certifiable insane. Now, over the past 10 years, they've changed that, and now they're going out of their way to try to convince people these things are real. That's an agenda, folks. That's not being done for your, to inform you or anything else. It's being done to get you to go into a mindset they want you to have. That's why they've changed their tune so much on this, because when they were trying to keep it a secret, it didn't fit their agenda. It didn't fit their agenda for people to know about the existence of these things. Now it fits the agenda for people to believe that these things are real, and not only to believe that they're real, but to believe the narrative and the story they're being told by. That's why they only allow certain people on these ancient alien shows, and they only allow certain people that are going to reinforce their agenda. And whether all those people know it or not, or whether all those people that are part on those shows are a part of the plan or not, and I don't believe all of them are. Some are just, what you call, dupes. They think what they're saying is the truth because they've been duped as well. And so they just repeat and regurgitate this stuff, and then that becomes part of the established narrative on these subjects. So now they're, again, I guess the asteroids and the alien thing, I guess they needed something else. Now they're talking about, now we've got to have space-based weapons that zap space junk, because that's a threat. There have been more than a few proposals for eliminating space junk, such as grabbing it, gobbling it, and blasting it from Earth. The latest idea, however, may be the most dramatic and the most effective. Chinese researchers have successfully simulated an orbital laser station that would zap small debris under 4 inches long. The system would zap targets with 20 bursts of light per second for 2 minutes, either deflecting the junk out of harm's way or sending it into a fiery end in the atmosphere. The team has determined that it would be logistically feasible to launch stations like this. However, it's not just a matter of building them. There are numerous questions to be answered. How many of these stations would you need and where? Who builds them? And if China builds them, how does it reassure other countries that this is strictly for space junk rather than a weapon? This could easily require a significant amount of planning and international collaboration before it becomes more than a simulation. But that's exactly the point I was just about to make, is that now it seems like everybody's coming up with a reason why they need these. It's so hilarious if you know and have been following this stuff as long as I have and know what's been going on and know what the plan is with these orbital lasers and space-based weapons and stuff like that. And now it's like everybody's got an excuse. We need to build one for asteroids. So Russia wants to build one because we need asteroids and, to fight asteroids. This country wants to build them to fight whatever. And China says, we need to build a bunch of those too because we want to fight space junk. Right. They've had, and the fact of the matter is, they've had these type of weapons and stuff up there for decades. There's no question about it. In fact, the Hughes Satellite Corporation supposedly had what they called hunter-killer satellites with defensive weapons and offensive weapons. We're talking about lasers, stuff to shoot stuff down, UFOs, since the late 1960s. If you've ever seen the movie, it's based on the short story by Stephen King, but if you've seen the classic 80s movie Maximum Overdrive, that's one of my favorite movies. It was one of my favorites when I was a kid, where all the machines go haywire and stuff, and they at first say that Earth is passing the tail of this comet, and that's what caused all this stuff to happen. But if you read the text on the screen at the very end, it turns out that what they thought was this comet passing by Earth that had this effect was actually an alien craft. And this was some sort of weapon. They were, this wasn't just, they basically told the people that it was the tail of some comet that caused all the machines to go haywire. But actually it was an alien craft. And clearly they were trying to wipe out all life on Earth by making all the machines go haywire and whatnot. And then when you're reading the text at the end, it says that the craft was destroyed by a Russian, and has it in quotes, Russian weather satellite with a class 4 laser or nuclear weapon or something like that. So, I mean, that movie came out in the mid-1980s. And, already right there in the mid-1980s, 85, 86, whatever it was. There's a little subtle jab and a little subtle joke. Because even back then it was a joke. Even back then people knew that, this quote-unquote weather satellite, it just happens to have an offensive laser weapon on it. And this stuff's been going on for a long time, but the thing is now, they don't want to operate these things in secret anymore. And it's become, necessary for them to have the knowledge and existence of these weapons out in the open if they're going to achieve their agenda. So, of course, this is how they're going to do it. They're going to sell on everybody on every reason why they're needed, except for the real reason why they want to have them. And it's, again, it's no coincidence that we continue to see these articles just this month pop up that all point in this direction. I mean, here's another one. War in space. How the Air Force is preparing and what might go wrong. So that one's not even, they're not even hiding it. Now, war in space has begun. I mean, that's how this article starts. Although the details are secret and the action so far is mostly non-kinetic, U.S. rivals such as China are investing heavily in ways of degrading or destroying space-based capabilities on which America's military and civilian economy depend. So here's another perspective. So now, the last article is saying, China wants to build orbiting laser platforms for space junk removal. And the next article says China's ramping all this stuff up with space-based weapons so they can take out our stuff. So you see how they're being spun? No, it's the Chinese that are the threat. No, it's the space junk that's the threat. No, it's the asteroids that's the threat. No, it's the aliens. They're any excuse and every excuse they can to spin a narrative that will get people to acquiesce to this type of weaponization of space is what they're going for. Well, that article even has a dead link to it. Kaspersky Lab, antivirus firm used by hundreds of thousands of people, is controlled by the Russian Secret Service. A firm behind an antivirus software used by hundreds of thousands of people is controlled by Russian spies who have used it to access secret files at least one British company. Cybersecurity technology produced by Moscow-based Kaspersky Labs. I mean, yeah. Even the name, I've heard that it's been around for years, but yeah, I mean, I would never put anything on my computer with a fucking Rusky name like that. I mean, come on. It's installed on computers around the world in a range of sensitive sectors, including finance and energy. And I've told this story before. I used to work for a software company, and right around 9/11, I remember when 9/11 happened, I was outside, and I was talking to some, I worked at this big building where we had all these different accounts, and one of the accounts was one of the antivirus companies. It wasn't Norton. I forget which one it was. It may have been Norton, one of them. And, I was talking to, this is just a few days after 9/11. I remember talking to the guys, this is not what we're told it is, reality is completely different than what we're being told on TV, blah, blah, blah. And, these guys were like, yeah, I mean, half our job, and people buy our product thinking they're buying something to, keep the viruses and everything off their computer. But meanwhile, people that work in our company write these viruses and put them out there, because if there aren't new viruses out there, we can't sell our new software every year. Those antivirus programs, man, they're such a joke. I mean, they really don't really protect you from anything. The main thing that you need is stuff that can remove, scans, doing regular scans and stuff to remove stuff from your computer. But that stuff where most of that stuff is there to run in the background and use your processes of your computer for who knows what, remote desktop stuff like they're doing now with Bitcoin and the uh, cryptocurrency mining and using your computer, sites using your processing power unbeknownst to you. A lot of the some websites are doing that now, like Pirate Bay. You'll go, and I have a thing on my computer that shows the processing, how much of the processor being used. And if you go to one of those sites, you'll notice immediately that your thing will start flashing, meaning your processor is using more processing power than it should be just on that page. That's because they're using, everybody that goes to the site, they're using their computers to mine cryptocurrencies. And I'll tell you what, I've known from the very beginning, I've never jumped all over that Bitcoin thing. I still get messages from people occasionally, oh, I want to send you some Bitcoins, this, that, and the other. Bitcoins don't work because if you ever tried actually cashing those things in for actual money, I mean, it's almost impossible. I knew it was a scam. I remember I first heard about it, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Anything that has to use, you bring this software up and it mines it and use your processing power in the background. No, I've known that was a scam for years. It's a scam to use other people's computers and processors to do tasks and whatnot and get away with it and use thousands of millions of computers to do it. Same thing as I was saying earlier with, people that can't just go to the store and buy a Visa check card and send me the numbers. I've said that to people before. Well, if you got all these Bitcoins and they're so easy to use and it's so great, why don't you cash some of those Bitcoins in and then send me the money once you cash them in? And of course they won't do that. I mean, it's a total scam. I never fell for it. I never got involved in it. I know you guys probably heard about this by now. Renowned scientist claims a human Z was born in an American lab before it was killed by panic doctors in the 1920s. Oh, sure. I mean, this is just one we're hearing about. Now, what, this was the 1920s? Shit. What do you think all these supposed stuff people see, like chupacabras and all this different stuff? This is all different genetic chimera stuff that's escaped from labs. A scientist has claimed that a human Z was born in an American lab nearly 100 years ago before being killed by panic doctors. Renowned evolutionary psychologist Gordon Gallup told The Sun that the human-chimpanzee hybrid was born in a lab in Orange Park, Florida. Gallup, who developed the famous mirror self-recognition test, which proved primates could acknowledge their own reflection, coined the term human Z, which refers to a human-chimp crossbreed. He told the newspaper that the former university professor claimed the human Z baby was born at a research facility where he used to work. I think a lot of the stuff, a lot of the cryptozoological stuff people see, I think all that's a result of genetic hybridization, genetic chimeras, all the rest of that, and maybe even in some cases, not anything that's been done recently. I think a lot of the stuff, that's why there's so many, I mean, look, believe it or not, there are creatures and there are animals that exist on this planet and are out there in nature that is not accounted for by science. I mean, it's just a fact. And I think the reason a lot of that stuff is because these go back to older hybridization projects. I mean, even probably back to some of the oldest ones, including ourselves. So I think some of the stuff that's out there as far as the chimeras and the cryptozoological stuff, I think some of it is a result of newer stuff. But I think maybe stuff like Bigfoot and, Yetis and stuff like that are a throwback to some of the old experiments and maybe older hybridization programs that were done by people that came to Earth and in the far past. .5-mile pyramid discovered at the bottom of the ocean. Could this bizarre object described as a giant ancient pyramid and found at the bottom of the sea be a clue to the site of the mythological city of Atlantis? Again, everybody still refers to this as the city of Atlantis. And anytime they find something like this and it's not in the Atlantic Ocean, then it automatically gets poo-pooed or downplayed. Well, it can't be part of Atlantis because it's not in the Atlantic Ocean. Bullshit. Atlantis was a worldwide society. It was not just a city located in one little place. And it's kind of just a generalized name for, a worldwide civilization that was wiped out. But this is interesting. The structure estimated to be between 3.5 and 11 miles across, is spotted on Google Earth in the Pacific Ocean just west of Mexico. A video about the discovery uploaded to YouTube has drawn vast speculation about what it could be, including an ancient sunken city, a bizarre UFO, or even an alien base. It's definitely something there. But again, you're talking about such vast amounts of time in which habitation's been going on this planet, and the fact that the established science and history now doesn't want any knowledge of that stuff. And there's a great reason why they don't want the knowledge of those things around, because it flies right in the face of their ability to be able to control the narratives of both science and religion. I mean, that's something I've ran into time and again with my work in the Lost Secrets of Ancient America. The Rockwall stuff has been, you would think one or the other would want this truth to come out, because it would, in some way, you would think it would back up some of their theories, but no, it doesn't. Because it shows that the established narratives of science and religion have both been a lie, and that's what they're worried about people finding out. That there have been civilizations rising and falling and people here on this planet for eons longer than we've been told. And then you got the fundamentalist Christians will tell you, the Earth's 8,000 years old or something. Yeah, come on. It's like they want to cut it off to right at the time period in which the planet was terraformed. There's no question about it. Our planet was terraformed with intent by somebody with intelligence, and it's slowly starting to be more and more uncovered when you look at stuff that's being pulled out of the ground, and somebody hit the reset button on this planet at some point, and I suspect they're probably going to do it again. You want to know the real truth? They're starting to fearmonger the pole shift stuff again. There's no question about it. We've been due for a magnetic pole shift on this planet for quite some time, but it's been a bit overplayed. What's been underplayed is the sun itself going through a pole shift, and that is something that has been known to wreak havoc on our planet, especially with solar wind and everything else. But I remember before 2012, you had a lot of people that were, everybody was trying to tie everything into 2012 at that point, and that was one of the things they were trying to tie in with that. And the Nibiru bullshit thing too was, oh, we're having a pole shift because it's Nibiru, or oh, we're going to have a pole shift because of the Mayan apocalypse and all this. And really, honestly, the effects of a pole shift happen slowly, and they've slowly been occurring and happening for quite some time. I mean, there was a story came out some years ago about the lines at the airport in Florida and stuff being off, and because slowly the poles have been shifting. But believe it or not, this kind of thing can happen without global cataclysms and death and destruction, the rest of it. But it's interesting that they always try to use the pole shift as, some story of Armageddon and the rest of it. But really, it's when the sun has its pole shift is what we really have to worry about. And the sun is in a period right now where that may be very well taking place. Historically, Earth's north and south magnetic poles have flipped every 200,000 or 300,000 years, except right now. They haven't flipped successfully for about 780,000 years. Yeah, so we're well overdue. But the planet's magnetic field is at long last showing signs of shifting, though there's no way to know for sure yet. It could be gearing up to flip once more, according to Undark magazine, and that possibility is raising new speculation about what that means for planetary life. Our planet's magnetic field protects us from lethal levels of radiation from phenomena like solar rays. The dangerous particles never hit us directly because upon entering the Earth's atmosphere, the magnetic field deflects them and forces them to move around, according to NASA. So, according to NASA, I can believe anything they say. So the prospect of that field weakening, which it does when it gets ready to flip, is worrisome. It will leave us without significant protection. The Earth's north magnetic pole has been wandering at 10-year intervals from 1970 to 2020, as seen in the animation from the National Centers of Environmental Information. The Earth's magnetic field extends out from electrical currents created by metals in its core, generating invisible lines that touch back down at the planet's opposing magnetic poles. Cosmic radiation expert Daniel Baker, director of the Laboratory for Atmospheric and Space Physics at the University of Colorado Boulder, believes that the next pole reversal could likely render some areas of the planet unlivable. That devastation could arrive through multiple avenues: the combination of powerful space particles like unfiltered solar rays, cosmic rays, and ultraviolet B rays would smash through our battered ozone layer and lead us the way of the dinosaurs. Our infrastructure wouldn't fare much better since satellite grids are linked. Once radiation eats through, more will follow, causing a cascading mass blackout, among other disasters. But again, all this is speculation. All of this is speculation. There absolutely is no evidence. It's all theories. It's all theoretical. There's absolutely no evidence that a pole shift or a magnetic pole shift on the planet would cause massive cataclysms, death, and destruction, and the rest of it. Yes, theoretically, there is a chance it could. But again, this is another part of the scare tactics, another part of the fear mongering. Because as I've stated many times, that's a part of these, the disinfo artists and the shills. I mean, that's what they do. Is to get you freaking out and not thinking rationally about something and strictly reacting from an emotional level. Because when you're reacting from an emotional level, you're not thinking and using your rational mind, and then you're easily malleable. You're easy to be controlled after that. And, speaking of psychological operations and the rest of that, the whole phony missile alert thing in Hawaii, I mean, talk about a psychological operation, folks. Give me a break. But some more interesting information has come out about this. Because they sort of, hung the guy that supposedly did it out to dry. And I think the initial reports that came out said that he was not cooperating with investigators, which I think even raised more eyebrows. But now a report has come out yesterday saying that the officer behind the false missile alert in Hawaii thought it was real. And look, these people have fail-safes upon fail-safes for this. None of this stuff can just happen by accident, okay? Nobody can just accidentally trigger a missile alert thing like that, especially for that long a period of time, and just say, oops. This guy clearly got an order or got information from somebody in the higher up chain of command, and now they're trying to use him as a patsy and just blame it on human error or whatever. And he's saying, no. This was not just a mistake. I absolutely got information from the chain of command that this was absolutely real. So the plot thickens on this. The FCC has published the preliminary findings of its investigation into Hawaii's false missile alert, and it suggests that the story didn't play out as you might have heard. where initial reports claim that the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency officer who triggered the mass panic clicked on the real alert by mistake. Yeah, like, oops. The FCC said that the officer fully intended to click it because they'd misinterpreted a mangled message. Right. Bullshit. This was done with intent. This was a psychological operation. And now they're trying to shift the blame where they can shift it to hide the fact that this was done with intent. Reportedly, the midnight shift supervisor had played a standard recording that included both the usual exercise language and the text from a real emergency alert system message, which includes, "This is not a drill." Although other officers saw this was a drill, the one who clicked the alert was convinced it was real. The rest of the report is more predictable. The FCC cited both inadequate safeguards. Right. As if they just have inadequate safeguards. Nobody's ever, if this was, how come it's never been a problem before? Until now. If they had inadequate safeguards and this was something that was an issue, it would have happened already. The FCC cited both inadequate safeguards for false alerts and a lack of preparation for the event of a false alarm. It notified the state governor, Pacific Command, and Honolulu police almost immediately, but its outreach to others was thwarted by congested phone lines. It didn't decide to broadcast the corrective emergency alerts until about 20 minutes after the false alarm, and another 18 minutes after that to actually send it right. So you could send out the phony one instantaneously, but took, an hour or whatever to send out the corrected one. Bullshit. Total. This was a drill, and not only was it a drill, it was a psychological warfare event and a way to gauge public reaction. I mean, if you think they won't use a space-based weapon or, a gravity bomb from space or a nuke or whatever else on our own people, just like they did on 9/11 or anything else, if you think they won't do this to get defense spending up and to have a reason to go to war with North Korea, you're just out of your mind. And this is the opening salvo of this. And of course this is happening. I mean, I said this at the end of last year. This is the second year term for Trump. Look at all the stuff that always happens. This is the year when you're going to see, a 9/11 thing or some sort of instigation for war happen. It's going to happen this year. Not a matter of if, but when. Yeah, such bullshit. That was all just a big accident. Yeah, right. They're saying they've identified another, I said from the very first day, when you watch the videos from the Las Vegas shooting, I mean, I remember watching as it was coming out, you could tell there were multiple people shooting. Shots were coming from different directions, but of course now they're saying that they have somebody else, a person of interest, and this person said he never knew the guy, but he did sell him some ammo. That's shady, but what's also shady is now the autopsy reports of 58 people killed October 1st at a country music show at the Las Vegas Strip were released Wednesday as the Clark County, Nevada coroner's office complied with a court order. The agency fought to keep the information confidential, but released it after a public records lawsuit filed by the Associated Press and Las Vegas Review. Yeah, that's another shady thing about this. Keeping normally publicly available information a secret. And now they're keeping the autopsy reports from the shooter himself a secret. Probably because the guy never existed in the first fucking place, and the whole thing's been staged and concocted, and crisis actors and the rest of it. The report contains information on the location of wounds, time and date of death, and when the autopsies were performed. The coroner redacted the victim's name from the reports, though officials had previously released them. The coroner's office released a report in December ruling each of the deaths a homicide and confirming that each victim died of at least one gunshot wound, with 6 dying from multiple wounds. The examinations were completed by October 5th, 2 days after the last victim was pronounced dead. The document ruled that many of the victims had been shot in the head, chest, or back. District Judge Timothy Williams, who also ordered the coroner's office Tuesday to release the autopsy report of gunman Stephen Paddock, though it has yet to be released. So they're keeping that a secret, yeah. Never explained why the guy, there was no, and they showed all the picture in the hotel room, and never explained why there weren't any empty shells laying there on the scene. I mean, just, again, more lies, more obfuscation. Truck driver irreparably damages 2,000-year-old Nazca lines in Peru by driving over a 100-yard section when he pulled over to check his tires. Again, this is another one of those bullshit stories. There's no reason why they shouldn't have those sites protected and have them fenced off to where just some random guy could just run his truck off the road and, oops, we irreparably damaged one of the Nazca lines. Oops, sorry. One of the most significant pieces of information and pieces of evidence of extraterrestrials being here in the ancient past. And, oops, just some random guy running his truck off the road could do that much damage to it. Bullshit. This was done with intent. Like everything else. Just an accident. Yeah. A truck driver has been arrested after causing irreparable damage to Peru's world-famous Nazca lines, drawings carved to the earth around the time of the birth of Christ. Javier Flores drove into an unauthorized section of the UN World Heritage Site on Saturday after deciding to pull off the road to investigate an issue with a tire. Right. I had a problem with my tire, so I accidentally pulled off the road and just happened to ruined the whole thing. Right. Bullshit. Same thing with the ancient sites of the Middle East and the rest of it. Same thing with them building lakes over ancient sites across America and across the world. It's an ongoing and continuing campaign of cover-up of ancient sites and ancient knowledge on this planet, because if you keep people ignorant of the past, you can keep people ignorant in the future, and that's just all there is to it. Whew. Okay. Oh, man. Ouch. Yeah, my pain's starting to come back now, so I got to leave it there. Again, folks, don't let us go under now. We're flat out of time, and we've got to reach our goal. No later than 3 p.m. on Friday. I'm not going to go through it all again. You know what you need to do. Make it happen. Help us reach our goal, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Josh Reeves signing out. Take care.